Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of New to the Game. Today we got a banging recipe for you. Today we're making something that's great for a nice little kickback, a game night. If you're going to watch the game and you want a little food for that, this is the meal for you. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Check. New to it, but we stay true to it. We'll be pro in no time. New to the game. New to the game. New world to explore. Never been here before, but it feels so right. New to the game. New to the game.
So today we are making Philly Cheesesteak Sliders. Philly, in West Philadelphia, born and raised. I was not, but Will Smith was. So this is what we're making today. Is our Philly Cheesesteak Sliders. Very simple, very easy. So for starting off, I do have my sirloin steak. You can use skirt steak. It'll work just the same. Just, a thin kind of piece of steak with less fat on it to cook down, so you're not biting into a slider and you just got a mouthful of fat. Nobody wants that. So I'm gonna turn on my eye to medium heat. While this is heating up, we're going to add some seasoning and some marinade to the steak. A little bit of, you already know, the Cajun seasoning, a little onion powder. It'll come out. Garlic powder, a few shakes of black pepper, and then I'm going to mix this all together. So what I did is I took a piece of strip steak or skirt steak, and what you're going to do is you're going to take that. I have sirloin steak. Take it, I'm gonna cut it into pieces, slices, and then once we cook it again, or cook it, I'm gonna cut it again into even smaller pieces for the sliders. So now the seasonings are in there, I'm going to add some steak marinade right on top of there. I'm gonna mix that in with the seasonings. So most of the time, steak marinades, you can get lower sodium, but some of them do have a good bit of sodium, so you want to watch the salt as you're seasoning that, and the seasonings that you use with salt. You don't want it to be too salty and you can't eat it. So our oil is hot. I'm going to go ahead, drop a piece in here. You don't want to overcrowd the pan. Then we're gonna cook our steak all the way through. Just right. When it gets cooked all the way through, that's when we're gonna take it out, because you don't want people having to break a tooth trying to bite on the slider, or yourself. The dentist is getting high nowadays, so teeth are getting expensive too. So you wanna make sure your steak isn't overcooked to where it's too tough. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna cook all of our steak. Once our steak is cooked, we're going to take it out, let it rest, and then we're going to slice it up for our sliders. Alright, our steak is done. It's finally cooked. So I'm going to take it out the pan. And I'm going to leave the eye on, because now we're going to cook our vegetables. And I wanted to cook them last, so that they will get the flavor of the steak embedded in them. So I have my steak over here resting. And then for my vegetables, I have some bell peppers and some onions. You want to add a little color. I have yellow, it's orange, red, green. The more color ones, the red, the yellows, and the oranges are going to be a little bit sweeter, which is what I like for this dish. Then of course the onion in there is going to be great as well. So I have all the juices from the steak in here. I'm gonna add a little bit of butter. And mix that in with the juices. And with the hot pan, you want to dump vegetables in, just like that. And I just have them sliced evenly. So I'm gonna add a tad of garlic powder to this. And then I'm just gonna let these cook down. And while those are cooking down, we're gonna go ahead and slice up our steak. So like I said earlier, our steak is already cut into slices. So I'm just gonna go against the slices with the grain to just cut them down into smaller, bite-sized pieces. Just pieces small enough to bite into. Well, I guess that'll be a bite-sized piece. As you're cutting your steak, you wanna try and cut out, if you see big chunks of fat, cut those off. Discard of those how you see fit. So I added in a little bit of water to my vegetables as they're cooking at a higher temperature. The water is just going to help steam them, cook them down evenly so that they're not getting crispy, but they're actually cooking down. And once the water evaporates from that, then we're going to add in our slices of steak. So our vegetables are done cooking down for the most part. So into the pan, we're going to add our chopped steak. And I turn my eye down just a tad. I'm going to do a nice mix of these, make sure they're blended evenly. And then we're going to add some mozzarella cheese. So the cheese, we're going to have cheese in with this, and also cheese on the bread. So add a little bit of this just so it melts down. So while that cheese is melting down, we already have our bread ready right here. So we're gonna have the little Hawaiian rolls. If you're feeding more people, you can either get more of these or the bigger pack. So I've already sliced mine. So on the top, while we're waiting on our cheese to melt, I'm just gonna rub a little bit of butter on the top. So everything will be cooked, so when you put it in the oven, all you're really needing to do is melt the cheese and the butter on top. You want to make sure you're stirring this and watching this, because the cheese will burn if you're not watching it, if you're not careful. And make sure you're mixing everything together, the vegetables, the cheese, the steak. So just about all the cheese is melted on this. So I want to go ahead and take it, place it right on the bottom of the bun. And then we're going to top this off with some pepper jack cheese, okay? So I have my sliced pepper jack cheese. I'm just going to lay it across. My oven is set to 375. Like I said, you only want to cook this until the cheese is melted and the butter is melted on top. Top back on now. We're gonna put this in the oven. Ooh. Our sliders are done. They look and smell great. We're gonna plate some of these up. Just a little duo, you know, since it's Philly, Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff. Oh my goodness. And there we have our Philly Cheesesteak Sliders, perfect for a night in or a kickback, game night. I promise you, when you make these, people are gonna keep asking you to make them over and over, so be careful, they're a little dangerous, but trust me, they're worth the danger. Thank you all so much for watching. We want to see you next time, next week, same time, same day. So make sure you hit that subscribe button If you're not subscribed, please do that. I promise you, we're only going to give you the best top tier content. So go ahead and hit that bell as well. Effortless bars. That way you're notified every time a new video comes out. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.